Hi, welcome to Season 3, Episode 11 of The Weekly Wave. I'm Matthew Lyons.
And I'm Aaron Johnson.
And our special guest here today is Senior Class Advisor, Mr. Matthew Cutter. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Great. Thanks for coming back.
No problem. It's always a pleasure to be here.
So we brought you on to talk about a multitude of things, a lot pertaining to the senior class, but I know, Matt, you wanted to kick it off.
I do, yes. So, as I mentioned, you are the Senior Class Advisor. So what led you to go for that position?
So I didn't even really want this position. Rachel Barrett had asked me personally if I wanted to do it because they had their other advisor was going somewhere else. And my first answer was no. I was just like, no, absolutely not. I don't want to do this. And then I thought about it. And then she asked me again. And I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll do it. So it doesn't look like anyone else is going to.
That was your first year, right? At Abington that you...
No, that was I started being the class advisor my third year of teaching here.
Okay.
Yeah. And
It was my second year when I taught you guys.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's fine.
But,
I didn't mean to cut you off.
How much work is it being like a class advisor?
It depends. Like, luckily for me, Rachel and Isabella and Gracie and Carly and all of the kids from the class that we've had help us with everything, like the auction and all the stuff that is super work intensive, they all take care of it. Like, my job really is to just provide advice, tell them when they're going in the wrong direction with something, sign the paperwork, and that's about it. Be the adult point of contact for other adults, that kind of stuff. But other than that, it's really run by your officers and the rest of the class. It's very much been a group effort, ground up.
So what was it like in March when we found out that we were in this new COVID quarantine world?
I mean, we still thought that we were going to be able to, like, I think everyone sort of had this false hope that we'd be out of this in like a month or two and that we'd be back to school and that we'd be able to do prom and do all this stuff. And it became just even more and more depressing as like the lockdown kept increasing and we realized that we were going to have to put this stuff off indefinitely. And that was a bit of a downer for everybody, but wasn't much we could do.
All right, I'm getting down to the nitty gritty. What's it going to look like for the rest of the year for seniors, our timeline? Because we haven't had prom, we haven't had a lot of these events. So as a senior myself, I want to know, we got, April and May. A little bit end of March. I don't know if you guys have anything planned, but I want to know what's going on, what's happening.
Luckily, they're relaxing the restrictions, and we should be able to do everything for you guys that every senior class has gotten in the past. We've got a pretty good plan set up for a COVID-safe outdoor prom. We're still waiting for final approval on that, so I don't want to give away too many details or anything, but it's going to be late May, and it's going to be fun. We're looking to do a lot of stuff, food trucks, things like that. So it'll be an interesting, different prom, which I think is, it suits you guys because you guys are a very interesting, unique class. So, and then like the car decorating, the parade we're going to do. I haven't even had any discussions with administration about this yet, but we're going to see what we can do about Powder Puff, if that can be a thing. So if we're lucky, we should be able to cram all of the stuff in that you would have normally done throughout the entire year in like the last 2 months of school.
That's actually kind of cool. It's going to be an exciting last 2 months.
I hope so. Everyone deserves, you guys deserve a party. You all deserve to celebrate. So hopefully we can achieve that.
Awesome. So a survey went out, as you mentioned earlier. It's going to be taking place outside the high school. Did you always want that? Because there was the option to do it at Indian Pond. Were you leaning one way or the other, or did you just want whatever was best?
Up until about 2 weeks ago, we were still leaning heavily toward Indian Pond because it's wicked nice. They've been wicked good with us. But as we started to think about sort of the restrictions and how hard it was still going to be to have a prom at Indian Pond, there's just so many more moving parts that we can't control, that we can control here. So it started to become a lot more feasible and a lot less expensive to do it here. So that's why we're doing it here now. Because Indian Pond, they've been wicked nice to us. They've been great to work with, but we're still working with a 150 person limit outside. And there's staff that we have to account for there, waiters, waitresses, just the management staff, on top of the fact that we have 150 kids in class. So they probably wouldn't even be able to accommodate us if we had stuck with them, which is why we're here now.
And you said like food trucks, all this stuff. So are we gonna see like a fusion type of prom, like kind of like a cookout? Like what's really like the vibe of this prom?
I mean, the vibe that I think we imagine, and we'll see if it plays out in reality. We're still going with like the fairy tale theme, unless we're going to convene a prom committee in a couple weeks once we get our plans approved and see what like everyone wants to do. But we've been envisioning still the same sort of theme, and like we're going to be outside so we can really play up sort of the fairy tale garden like decorations and do a lot of stuff that we wouldn't have been able to do at Indian Pond. So we're hoping that the atmosphere is still classy, still sort of magical. I know all the girls still have dresses that they want to wear. I was planning on buying a new suit, so I'm hoping we can class it up and sort of have like a formal outdoor party, if that makes sense.
Kind of like the Catalina wine mixer.
Exactly like the
Yep.
Catalina wine mixer. That sounds awesome. But with like all the dresses and the suits and the food trucks, how's that going to work? Are bibs going to be provided? Is there going to be like a separate station for eating?
That is a genius idea. Would be like class of 2021 prom bibs. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna talk to the girls and see if we can make that work.
See, this is why we do it. Ideas. They just happen.
They're gonna hate it, but
Regardless of of prom and the parade, are we going to see anything else like is senior reception like totally called off? What's the issue around there?
I mean, unfortunately, just with timing, we are not going to be able to organize both a prom and a senior reception.
Okay.
So it's sort of going to be like a promception, because So we're gonna have to keep it small, which means you guys won't be able to bring outside guests and stuff. So it's gonna be all seniors. So it's gonna be kind of like a senior reception anyway. But yeah, it just wasn't feasible to be able to organize both a prom and a senior reception, given the time frame and all the restrictions that we have.
So going in like for the future, obviously the juniors aren't having a prom this year. Is like a senior prom going to be the new norm going forward?
I don't know. I doubt it. I think it's up to ultimately it's up to every individual class. But I mean Abington likes its big grand junior prom with the grand march and everything else, and I don't think that's going to be going away anytime soon. We had to adapt, just like everything else.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and answering some of our questions.
No problem. Anytime.
Thanks for watching. Tune in next week for a brand new episode of The Weekly Wave.
And make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms at the Green Wave Gazette and the Weekly Wave.
Stay safe.
Goodbye, everybody.